Artists aren't picking your beats because of your drums. Your patterns are either way too busy or you're not doing enough at all. So today I'm going to show you techniques I use to make banger drum patterns that artists actually want to use. And then at the end, we're going to cook up a drum pattern completely from scratch, showing you just how easy it is. Here's a drum pattern that works. The reason this drum pattern works? Congruency. By congruency, I mean this. Just because two different patterns might sound good alone doesn't mean they're going to sound good when you put them together. You need to make patterns that work together. So first off, when building my drum patterns, I like to base my kicks and 808s off of the melody. Pay attention to where the 808s hit in comparison to where the chords hit in my melody. That's just one of many examples of congruency in your drum pattern. Now take a listen to these songs. Notice how empty the drum patterns are. Great drums is not about how complex the patterns are, but it's about having the right sounds at the right time. I do this by using what I call space plus emphasis points. Pay attention to this drum pattern. Overall, it's very simple with a lot of space in it, but towards the 4th and 8th bars, the snares as well as the 808s start to ramp up a bit, creating more energy on those emphasis points. And the way I use these emphasis points is usually what I call an A-B-A-C pattern. This is actually a common rhyme scheme used in songs, but I use it in my pattern building as well. All of my drum patterns start with a simple 2-bar idea. Then for bars 3 and 4, it's very similar, but I switch it up slightly, which is where our B section comes in. Then for bars 5 and 6, we go back to that original A section. And then for bars 7 and 8, the viewer thinks they're about to get that B section again, but we throw in a new C section, which completely throws the listener off guard, but in the best way possible. So overall, it's this exact same 2-bar idea, just copied over 3 times, but there's slight adjustments every other bar, which makes it easy to listen to because it's quite a similar idea, but it's unique enough to where it continues to catch the listener's ears. Now I'm going to show you a few more technical things you can do inside of FL Studio to make your drums a little bit more unique. Then we're going to build a really quick drum pattern from scratch. First off is playing out your patterns live. This is especially important in boom bap or older style genres, but even in trap music, you can do this. Savage Mode 2 by Metro and 21. Metro actually played out the sounds live, and it gives it a more human feel compared to when everything's perfectly on the grid. Next technique is slide notes, but we're not going to do what you probably were thinking, which is like put a couple of slide notes on the 808s, kind of like in drill music. I actually will use slide notes on other sounds like open hats, snares, and random perks. And that gives it a really interesting sound. Like take a listen to this snare. Now, if we go over to our open hats, I did a similar thing here, but I actually used this envelope, which again is a common envelope you see on 808s, but I put it on the open hat, and I played the open hats how I would play a normal hi-hat, adding slide notes as well. So we have rolls and slide notes. And that gives it an extremely unique sound that I don't see really anybody else doing. So before we make our quick drum pattern from scratch, to quickly recap everything, the main key is congruency, making sounds that actually go together with your melody. Start by basing your kicks and 808s off of the chords, and then build the other patterns around that. The way I build my patterns is by thinking in bars of 2, commonly using that A, B, A, C pattern, adding in emphasis points on that B and C part. And to make my drums even more unique, I'll add in cool things like pitching the notes, slides, etc. So I'm just going to grab this loop that was free inside of the Discord community kit. Join the Discord in the description below. Just going to copy over that 2-bar idea. Trying to make sure it's in key. Then we'll create our B section right here. Change up the velocity here, have like a little ghost note. And then we'll copy this over for the last part, but we're gonna switch it up a bit. Just gonna keep this simple. Again, following the AB, AC pattern. That'll be our 2-bar, so we'll copy that over. Notice I'm placing a roll where that snare hits, so everything's congruent. Copy that over. Add this little extra sound. How to make your drums hit harder? Start with the basics. You guys already know this. Take off this damn limiter, and you could add a soft clipper, and instantly there's a couple more things we could do. First off, we're gonna go over here and add a little pinch envelope, add a little shape like this, turn this down, turn this a little bit. Before, after. It just makes it a little bit punchier. It sounds like a kick's there, even though there's not. And then finally, we're gonna layer the open hats on top of the 808s. And then we're gonna pitch this one down. Do that again. Pitch this one up. And this is done. I think a lot of you thought I was going to add way more. With good drum patterns, less is more. Notice there's only a few sounds here. I didn't even end up using the secondary 808. There's really not much going on. And I think that's where most people go wrong, is they overcomplicate it and they make a pattern that's way too busy. Hope this helped you. Join the Discord. I'll see you guys in the next one.